Breaking news for you right now in the Zahra Baker case.
A heartbreaking, horrific story.
This is a homicide investigation.
Hickory Police Department is telling us a bone has been found in Caldwell County.
10-year-old Zahra Baker.
But she's dead.
Presumed murdered.
A homicide investigation.
Like I said, my lawyers don't tell me all the world is saying, but if it is anything like these letters, OMG.
They found her prosthetic leg.
They knew where to go find that leg based on a tip.
That bone is being sent to the medical examiner's office right now in Chapel Hill for further examination.
Lisa Baker did take authorities through that area.
I mean, I never thought it would be this way. My lawyers get death threats every day, too. This is so crazy.
Lisa Baker, the stepmother, used to reside in that area.
They're sifting through very, very carefully.
The bone has been found, and Hickory police believe it may be connected to her case.
They appeared to be looking for something small.
Where did they discard her body?
Authorities still want to find Zahra Baker.
For those of you just joining us, police now in day 2 of searching this one densely wooded area in the hopes of finding another of little Zahra's bones. The circumstances now leading many criminologists to believe that little Zahra was actually dismembered. This as we uncover even more jailhouse letters written by stepmommy during her brief stay behind bars so far, claiming that she found Zahra dead. We are taking your calls, but right now, out live to the search site, standing by is Melissa Mullenbrock. She actually lives across the street from where the prosthetic leg belonging to little Zahra was first found. Melissa, you've been watching this now for 2 straight days. What have you seen?
Well, today, like yesterday, we have the Love Lady Rescue Special Operations truck back out there. Again, maybe 30 to 40 people with the shovels and the digging utensils. Today is different than any other day before, such as instead of blocking off all of Christie, which would be 2 to 3 miles, they have specifically blocked off a certain area. That's about a quarter of a mile today. They have it blocked off where I can't get to my house or out of my house without having to go around behind onto Deal Mill Road. So they are specifically looking in a certain area, and I've noticed that they have gone farther back and towards the right where the pond is, opposed to right behind the gated area.
Melissa Mullenbrock joining us. She's been watching this all unfold since day 1 when little Zahra's prosthetic leg was found pretty much across the street from her home, discarded in overgrown brush on a county back road. Melissa, have you spoken to any of the searchers?
No, I've not spoken to any of the searchers. I have asked the police on the way in because I have to show my license to get to my house to prove that I live there. And all they say is that they will be here for as long as they possibly need to.
Wow. So they're not about to pack up and leave. They are dead set on searching this area with a fine-tooth comb. It can really only mean one thing, that they believe that bone does belong to 10-year-old Zahra, which, according to many criminologists, suggests that the little girl was dismembered. I mean, think about it. Eleanor Odom, you've got her stepmommy in a letter saying what Adam Baker did to Zahra is horrifying. You have a leg, part of a body, found in this area. You also find a prosthetic leg in this area. You also know that a wood chipper was the focus of cadaver dogs. We also know that not one but 2 cars were hit on by cadaver dogs, which suggests that the body was either moved from one car to the next. Why would they do that? Or that body parts went into 2 separate cars, Eleanor.
Exactly, Nancy. And something else, don't forget, is the fire. And I just wonder if they also tried to discard any part of the body in the fire. So that concerns me, along with the wood chipper. And so many of us have seen the movie Fargo, where that was used to dispose of a body. So that's out there and could be done.
Well, it's actually been used in real life, too. I don't think that they would use the fire to get rid of body parts or any evidence, because it's right there in their yard. I mean, come on, a fake fire, a fake ransom note. What more do these people need to do? Do they need to take out an ad in the New York Post, I killed Zahra? Out to the lines, Marcia in Colorado. Hi, Marcia.
Hello, Nancy. Thank you for taking my call. I apologize, first of all, because I'm going to divert from what you all are talking about now, and I certainly don't want to detract from the real story. But on last night's show, there was a very brief mention of stepmommy being on suicide watch. Do you think this woman would really attempt or commit suicide and miss out on all this attention?
Marcia, you should be a shrink because you are exactly right. No way is this lady going to off herself. She's sticking in there. She'll be in there till the bitter end. She loves herself way too much. Didn't you hear about in her letters how she wants to be a TV star? Come on, please.
I got to stop for a second because in the letter when Elisa wrote that she was on suicide watch, if someone was on suicide watch, they wouldn't have a piece of paper and pen and write a letter. Just wanted to interject that thought.
Close to killing herself. What's your question? Do I still have Marcia?
Yes, that was my question.
Okay,
And this whole thing is just so horrific. We saw the parents of the children on Jane Velez Mitchell and how, I don't know, it's beyond me how people can do
You know
this
what,
to their
Marcia?
children.
You're right. Bethany Marshall, agree or disagree? They seem to have put this woman in suicide watch. Why? I don't know. Big waste of money. Maybe they just want her in isolation.
I think they're just watching their P's and Q's because there's so much public attention on this case. But to piggyback on what Marcia was saying, remember, stepmommy had fictitious disorder, meaning that she made up sickness. She pretended that she had brain cancer. She was in a wheelchair. So it's possible that as a child killer, she could have mimicked what it was like to be a serial killer, like watched TVs, read the wires, and then dismembered the body because this is what serial killers do.
To Mark Klass, president and founder of Klass Kids Foundation. Mark Klass, weigh in.
Maybe she is a serial killer. You know, maybe she is. What do we know about this woman? Everything we know about her is absolutely ghoulish. And to respond to what Alex was saying about battered woman syndrome, remember, her own children are afraid of this woman. Her daughter is afraid for her own safety when she's around this woman. And this was long before she got together with Adam Baker. This woman is got awful, horrible, dark tendencies, and she seems to love to find ways to play them out. I wouldn't be surprised at anything, at any turn of events in this case now. This is something out of a grade B horror movie out of Hollywood.
You know, Alex Sanchez, Mark Klass brings up an excellent point. You are actually trying to trot out the battered women's defense. Her own children, one of them, her natural daughter, took the stand and said, please don't let my mom out of jail, Judge. I'm afraid she'll kill me. I will fear for my own safety. That is not a battered woman.
No, but what I'm suggesting here, Nancy, is that she's obviously a very troubled person with this paganism and this witchcraft.
Now we're going from battered woman to
and if you look at those letters, Nancy, she is afraid of her husband. And how do we know he's not the guilty party? And how do we know he did not intimidate her into writing those letters and those ransom notes? How can you assume that that's not the case?
Well, because she's behind bars writing the letters and he hasn't visited her one time.
You know
so
what?
He hasn't intimidated her into writing anything.
Point to one piece of evidence right now indicating that she actually murdered that child. Say it on the air right now.
Okay, Alex, you point to one piece of evidence that he made her write these letters.
No, answer
well,
his
if you look
question.
at that last letter that she wrote, she said, I'm kind of afraid of him. And then when she's implicating him, she's very halting. She's very hesitant in the way she said he kind of did something horrifying. She's afraid of that guy.
You know what? I respect you. I respect you for coming up with that defense. Back to the lines. Deborah in Vermont. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for all the work you do for victims of crime. I was just wondering, was there any abuse charges against Zahra, her family, when they were in Australia? And was this woman with her father in Australia?
No. We don't know of any abuse allegations out of Australia. Remember, she lived with her grandmother there. But As far as abuse allegations here, defects have been called many times to the home. But back to David Lord, crime reporter, AOLnews.com. We wouldn't have the letters if it weren't for him. David, are you surprised there are more letters floating around out there?
No, I'm not surprised. When we talked to the police department the other day, they said they had these copies of a bunch of letters that she had sent out. And I would also like to mention where your caller said about suicide watch. We've since learned that that's not true. She is not on suicide watch. She made that up for whatever reason.
Well, look at that. I didn't even have to call the jail to find that out. I just knew that by common sense. Nobody has a pen and a piece of paper while they're on suicide watch in jail. And regarding Elisa's children being afraid of her, there are photos taken less than a year ago of everybody happily sitting on the couch all together. It was during a holiday. I don't know if it was Easter or what holiday it was. And all the kids were around, and Zahra's on the couch with Elise and Elisa's children. I mean, what happened in court, I just feel that there's something more behind that Amber, I think it was Amber who was on the stand, is in fear of her life. There's more back there somewhere. Just don't know what it is. But just a theory popping into my head.